afternoon, everybody. Coming to you live, just waiting on game two for MHT versus Mike Kessling. Bill, do you want to give us a little bit of a wrap up on like what happened in game one?
Yeah, so in game one, Kessling played court and Matt played QMC, and Kessling went real hard with the system. Was able to get a win by 29, which is a big number for match play,
Yeah,
but not so big that it can't be overcome. I don't know if you guys remember Worlds 2 years ago, I think it was, when Tom Kelly beat Bastion by 29 in the first game of the match. So
yeah,
Mike still definitely has a game on his hands.
yeah. It's gonna be like I think it's gonna be a good matchup between these two. Looks like it's your standard throne room versus ISB. So both players, I'm gonna assume, know these decks pretty well.
Yeah, Kessling's been testing a bit with this throne room, potentially putting Matt on a CCT.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you'll see a couple cards skewed that way, but we definitely knew that ISB was in his realm,
Yeah,
and Kessling has played with ISB a couple times this tournament, and I'm sure Matt. I mean, everybody knows throne room.
yeah.
It's just a matter of what he put Kessling on.
My question though is, I mean, you said it. Kessling won the game one by 29. So, what do you think the chances of MHT? We don't want to see that. Uh, Winning by 29, because I mean, as you said, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but at the same time, that's quite a big number.
And especially to do it with something like ISB.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the reload version that we've kind of been running most of the year, that's going to put a lot of cards on table if you want to cause overflow. It's definitely going to be able to stall the game out a little bit if
Yeah.
he can set up, depending where he sets up. So it's definitely doable. You could see Matt show up with throw a guy in space,
Mm-hmm.
set up a drain of two and two on Cloud City, and then somehow protect that square. You can make it a game, a match, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, both of the players seem like they know the decks really, really well. So
And both of them have been playing kind of out of their minds recently. Like the star power that Matt has had to go through to get to this point, beating Bastion,
mm-hmm.
beating Justin, has been crazy. And I've never seen Mike more locked in. So
Yeah,
definitely, definitely going to be good.
I mean that right there. It's yeah. I was gonna say it sounds like um, this could be a match where it goes to anybody's game, but again, it's going to come out to whether or not he can win by 29. And I think with both of these decks, it's going to be hard. Like it's going to be hard. I mean, throne room is your if this is your standard throne room, it's going to be. I don't. I'm not saying I don't like his chances, but I mean, very well we could be seeing an all new allies final.
I, I'm certainly hoping for it. If I can be a little biased for a second.
I, I
Will
don't
we
think they've
see
ever
standard
been.
setups, I think, from both of them?
Sorry.
But I was just letting you know standard setups from both of them. Matt starting
Mm-hmm.
Enforcement, Quat Drive Yards, Arrest Order. Starting Insurrection combo, Sator, and Walkling. Vic
Mm-hmm.
already has found his Jedi Council chamber, got himself a docking bay. I think he's going to want to draw here to kind of find what he needs because he knows he has time on his side.
True. Yeah, if he didn't have time on his side, it would be a little bit of a different situation.
All right, so Matt was able to find Mustafar. Did end up with a battleground docking bay right away. Maybe not his first choice, but certainly not bad.
Yeah, I think you said it. I mean, both players are going to play pretty I don't want to say slow, but I think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna be too quick to doing what they want to do.
Right.
I
And this
think it's
is this is Kessling's match to lose. So like he's going to be extra careful about what he does. He's going to find his hoojiks. He's going to think about everything before he does it. You know.
Yeah, and that makes 100% sense. Like, there's no reason for him to do anything crazy when you're up by 29.
And apparently your sound is a little low. If you can turn yourself up a little bit.
Yeah, let me know if that's any better.
You're louder for me, so.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is the Bill Caver show. I'd rather talk. I would rather let you speak higher than me. So.
Paul Myers is telling me that I sound perfect, so you know, it's not a comment you hear every day.
That is a good point.
Are you still playing your game? How's your game going?
So right now, if those who are watching, I'm actually in the middle of a match with Batmouse. We're playing in the North Cal League. This is I'm 3-0. He's 3-0. So, or actually, no, he's 2-1. He lost to me, and it's OA versus Court. Paul Myers, yes, I did get your email. So we will have to confidentially sit down and talk about some things. Oh.
Mike just grabbed another docking bay and drew up to 12, definitely respecting Monarch.
And that I like that move. I think that's the smart thing to do.
So we checked out Matt's deck list from the last 2 rounds. Granted, he was playing against Bastion and Dustin, like I said, who like to draw a lot of cards, but he did run Monarch in both of those lists.
Okay. And I mean, Monarch's not a bad card to have. I mean, I rather
it's a
like
good card to have in match play, especially because you kind of get to control your opponent's hand, and even if you don't have it, you still kind of get to control your opponent's hand.
Yeah.
So both players, again, cautious, trying to set up what they're trying to do. Matt just found another docking bay. He was able to find his 1-0 docking bay this time. That's probably the extent of his activation, sitting at 11 right now. Whereas Mike is still going to be able to find Boston Ash Chambers, which he's probably looking for right now, or Battle Planes, which will boost both of them, obviously. But you will start to get that edge. Matt also saved 8 Force, so they're both just kind of hanging out. You know, ISB likes to kind of build their hand, set something up where you drop Moff Gideon, you drop a couple troopers, you drop Wolf Laren to refill your force pile, you drop 2 more troopers, maybe a Star Destroyer in there, who knows?
Yeah, and as CRG duly noted in the chat, yeah, it's going to come down to whoever blinks first.
Looks like Mike's going to drop first.
Yeah. Interesting. Like, I mean, how do you feel about Mike going down with Luke?
I mean, he's got, 14 and 6, 20 force to drop here. Knowing some of the cards that Mike might have in his hand, maybe he has like something like a Saw that he's going to be able to protect that drain. Maybe he has a Leia that he can drop down to threaten her gun, threaten the Skywalker, something like that. he's not going to drop here unless he's very confident that he's
Yeah.
not going to get overloaded.
And that's 100% true.
Either that, or this could even be a feint. Like maybe you have the Hujix and you're going to drop two guys that you don't care so much about.
Okay. He's backing up with Qui-Gon, so I mean that's not nothing. That's nothing to sneeze at right there.
So it is only 12 power, and it's how many forfeit? Another 16 forfeit, 17 forfeit. So that's what, 29. Dark can definitely top that with trooper assaults.
True. I mean, MHT does have 12 cards in his hand. He's got 8 cards in his life or in his force pile. So I mean, I think you're right on that. That he can easily just come down and overpower. I mean, but at the same time, you're probably going to take a few guys with you.
And I think more importantly, you're forcing him to put 6 to 10 cards on the table.
Now the next thing is like maybe we could see MHT coming down and just leaving Luke and Qui-Gon alone. I mean, it is a drain of 2, but at the same time, you can potentially, instead of putting down like 6 to 7 guys, you could come down with like 2 guys or 4. You can get all your ISB guys down, and then that only becomes a drain of 1.
Right. You threaten a drain of 2, maybe you go to space, you threaten free drains of 2 and 1. You can just start wearing them down, whereas Mike is going to presumably pay to drain every chance he gets.
Yeah.
So with 19 force,
that's a
12
lot
cards
to
in your
work
hand.
with.
You can certainly do something here. Checking out his reserve deck now. I think generally my game plan as ISB versus Throne Room is I want to set up in space fairly lightly, something like a Star Destroyer and Paul Treatum, or Ozzel, or both.
Yeah.
Just to be able to enforce battle order. And then you want to set up at that 2-1 where if you need to chase around Cloud City, you can, because you move away from there for free.
I don't know, like I like Paul on the ground just because he has a lot of that. He can reduce the attrition against you, especially in this matchup.
And Paul's like so good.
Yeah.
So Gideon is going to the 2-1. I think where this Stormtrooper goes will tell us what Matt is doing this turn. Like I was saying, that's my game plan typically, not when I'm down by 29. So you might see him drop even more bare bones in space. Maybe it's just the Star Destroyer. Then if he can get to 2 battlegrounds, then you can start threatening things like dropping to the throne room, dropping to the Jedi Council chamber.
Well, and that is the nice thing about like quad drive yards. I mean, your destroyers do draw on their own. So
Yep, is immune to less than 4.
Yeah. Man, I wish Lightside had
Corporal
like
Oberk with the free pool.
Okay, now this I like.
Corporal Oberk. Okay. Corporal Oberk is an agent.
He is?
Is.
Yeah. So he's got 3 agents right there, and he's got the strategic reserves down. So, and there's the flip. So, I mean, now Mike would have to pay 3 to drain for 1, and he can cancel it.
Probably. I don't know about if I were Matt here, and I don't know what he has in his hand, but I think you play Gideon to the 2-0 to get that deployment modifier if you have a kick, if you have a never yell null, if you have Lana combo, something like that. You can protect him a little bit. Maybe you drop one of the, I guess with strategic reserves, you drop a random trooper there just for a little extra protection. Maybe he was drawing for the masterful move, didn't want to chance it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Okay, still saying that my mic's really low.
Did he not find anything with the masterful move? That's unfortunate. The skeptic in me here thinks that Matt already has Gick in his hand and is just playing that as a feint, saying, "Look, I don't have a Gick. You should attack me."
Yeah, and I think Kessling's smart enough not to go into that. At least I would hope. I mean, Matt's not going to be able to retrieve right now, so I mean, you could still drain essentially.
As Kessling, yeah, I think you pay to drain and maybe drop one more guy there, and then start thinking about where else you want to go, how else you want to do this. If you look for an R2D2, so you can go to the 2-0. Maybe you put second guy, or I guess a third and a fourth guy down at the docking bay, so you can start to set up to move over potentially. Not right now, but potentially. So, which you did not have to pay for. So Leia V, the docking bay, definitely a good Leia to have against against ISB.
Now my question is, unless you're going to drop a ton of stuff this turn, why not drain?
He did drain for 0, and it was canceled.
Oh,
it was just free to drain.
Not paying attention.
The Ray following, so that's probably
get another saber.
Did search his reserve deck, so he's probably looking for something, something like an R2D2.
Yeah.
To further his game plan here.
And so, just speaking of new allies, just letting everybody know, we got Greg Shaw on Hollow Theater tonight, so we should be doing that. Maybe after this one, maybe we can convince Kessling to being on. Have both finalists for the Texas Mini Worlds coming on. That'd be exciting.
If he wins.
If he wins.
Like we're too ahead of ourselves here.
I mean, the biggest problem that I'm seeing right now is MHT has 31 cards in his Life Force.
That's literally what I just looked at.
Yeah. And
like, can you win this game with the 11 cards in your hand and the one more card that you're going to draw?
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. Like, don't get me wrong, MHT has He's a good player. He took down Bastion and Desai. How many people can actually say that? It's just coming back from 29. That's rough.
With ISB.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the way you do that is some kind of blowout battle.
Mm-hmm.
And with Matt already dropping 2 troopers and Tarkin, and not sending Moff to the 2-0, so we can drop a more for cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
Yeah, with the game plan that he has right now, I just don't see it.
And if Mike can find Saw and throw him to the docking bay, and then
it's even worse for MHT.
Anakin and Lando and R2D2 to go to the 2-0.
Yeah. Like, if you're MHT, you've got to be thinking, what can I do at this point? No, he can't cancel strategic reserves with Saw. You're thinking of Galen Urso.
He's saying you can still use strategic reserves to cancel against Saw.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So I assume he would use strategic reserves to cancel the 2-0 square drain. Mm-hmm. And then if he finds Saw, he can still get a drain of 2 in at the docking bay.
Yeah.
Mike is perfectly content to start paying for drains here.
Yeah.
Battle plan.
If you're not down by 30, you're okay. Justin Branch coming out with the wise knowledge. Paul, it's not that I'm pondering. We'll figure it out. I'll email you after I'm done here. Okay, so MHT will not drain, or no, he does drain, and then he gets out the vengeance to Mustafar, so he won't be paying to drain. I mean, we saw him grab the card with to this squadron assignments. Like, I know you can't allow him to drain for free, but do you waste a shield pool on knowing that he's going to just go up to Mustafar?
I mean, I think you do. You force him to that he's looking to draw much here because he's already drawn to 29 now. Mm-hmm. But do you make him pay? So, because I do think that Matt's best way to victory is a beatdown. So if you make him pay to drain or decide not to drain, it's tough for this turn. Now, future turns obviously it won't matter, but
yeah,
I would do that this turn, especially because Mike has deployed most of what he needs to probably win this game. Endor has found it. He's got 14 cards in his hand. He's got Speaks he can lose. He's got Weeses he can lose. He's got weapon cards he can lose. Is out activating him by 3.
True.
Yeah, Justin, that's what I was saying. That's one of his paths to victory as well, is if you can set up in space, set up on a second battleground, and then start dropping guys to the throne room, to the JCC, you can get in drains and you force your opponent to come to you. Yeah. I think throne room, he's going to have to concede that drain because there's no related location. But if he goes to the boss nest chambers, he is running battle planes, which he just pulled. If he goes to the JCC, he can move over to 2-0. He gets a second battleground, of course.
Yeah. Well, there's the R2.
And we also saw Matt try to pull a Gick and miss. And we don't know if that's because he has Gick in his hand or if he just didn't find it that turn.
And as you called it, there's the R2 with the Anakin coming down to the 2-0 site. So.
And Lando feels great here, too. Let's see if it's Lando.
Yeah, I was going to say, any kind of backup would feel really good right now if you're Kessling. But yeah, I think you got to get the saw down too.
But you just got to be careful now. You can't throw everybody down, right? So maybe you want to keep Lando to beat up on somebody that does go to the 2-0, one of the 2-0s.
Would you have saved the Ahsoka, or would you have? Do you like him going down with her as well?
You need a second person there. So if it's Ahsoka, that's fine. He still has 12 cards in his hand. He still has 6 Force active. Doesn't have to pay now because it's not Lando.
True.
So if you use Lando as hit and run, I think that's fine.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like
Far
both
on R2 and Coward.
Yeah, that's one way of getting rid of R2. Yeah, Mike. I think both players can't over deploy. I mean, Mike because he wants to be able to go down and get rid of the drains that MHT might come down with. MHT can't because he's got 29 cards left in his life force. I mean, he's gonna get one back right here. So
that pool of firepower is interesting because if he doesn't run a shield puller, then he's busted, so he can't even get Coward.
True.
I imagine he does run probably a cold feet, but he's got to find it.
There's no reason, especially not with. I mean, could you put Mike on throne room at this point?
At this point, when he's playing throne room, yes, I could put him on throne room.
Okay.
Yes, I could have put Mike on throne room. I think that's what he's played a decent amount of, and I think it was his second odd list as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Cold Feet is just a good dark side card anyway.
Oh,
Every deck should play it. Also, it counts as counter assault. So
Yeah, I mean, counter assault's okay.
counter assault's good against ISB. We saw when Greg was playing. What did Greg play? Like Greg was playing ISB, excuse me, and Joe Olsen was running counter assault. There was a turn where I think Greg had 5 guys at the docking bay, and it was power 8. If you're going to draw 5 Destiny as a throne room against that, you like your chances.
Okay, so Lucis is sorry about the mess, and from his reserve deck, I think that might come back and bite him a little bit. What kind of space?
Who are you really worried about messing here?
Actually, no, never mind.
And maybe like a rogue U3PO found its way into the deck.
Yeah, but not with. Yeah, you can't do that with Imperial Enforcement. So maybe an Erica.
Yeah, I could see Erica. I'm a bit echoey. I would not know how to turn off or on reverb, so.
That's probably my doing. I don't. I'm not using a headset right now. And I've got my sound bar kind of close to my mic. I need to.
Plus, Paul Myers already told me I sounded perfect.
Yeah, and how can you go against Paul Myers?
It's the #1 seed.
Right? He's the #1 seed, but yet he didn't pick Brian Fred, the matchup that everybody wanted to see.
Just because you're the #1 seed doesn't make you the people's champion.
Yeah. I mean, look at you, Bill. You were what, the #3 seed for Texas Mini Worlds?
I don't know when I've ever been a #3 seed.
No, you were the numbers. So think about it. So CRG was the #1 because he came out of Bastion's bracket. Then there was Justin Desai, who was #2, and you were in the Chris Kelly bracket or the C bracket.
The 3 seed.
Yeah, you were the 3 seed. I'm just glad I beat you. I was the first person to actually beat you.
Where?
Granted, it was like you and I were both just said and done at that point. So
And I was just trying to cancel EBO.
Yeah, I know. That was the funny part was.
Didn't allow it. Sending patrols to the Echo Corridor, just like in the movies.
You know what? We need more cinematic stuff in this game. That's why I like playing with the North Cal guys just because they do a lot of like the cinematic stuff. They do this thing called the Casual Quest where you pick up more theme based stuff. Like their last one was Echo or Endor operations versus RST. So stuff like that I'd like to see more of.
If I can get a little plug in here for Tomas, he is running that event for the Euro guys where they have the virtual reality format that was just finalized today.
Oh, could you tell us a little bit more?
So the virtual reality format is there are no rare cards that are legal. No idea is not legal. And then all virtual cards are legal, regardless of what the underlying card is. Except no idea.
Interesting.
I think that's going to be an interesting format. It's definitely
Yeah.
one that I want to see what people do with it.
You know, that's one thing I like right now is that there are people coming out with more formats because, don't get me wrong, the meta is pretty stale. We are seeing a lot of ISB, a lot of no idea, a lot of throne room. So stuff like that to bring it to the forefront is interesting. It's actually kind of funny. Speaking of the North Cal guys again, the tournament that myself, Bat Mouse, Ryan Saracen, all those guys are in, we voted before the tournament on kind of like what decks to ban. So each person put up like a deck for light side, deck for dark side, and those were just straight up banned. Funny enough, CCT and No Idea were both not banned.
So it looks like Matt is coming down here 2-0 as Officer Evex, which would enable a Never Yell No, which I thought we would see.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he follows up with Min Kainu. Krebs Coward, so there you go.
Yeah, that's one way of pulling Coward.
Did get a text from Brian Fred. Said
Yeah.
he tried to comment and could not. Brian Fred says Mike should have moved Leia in front of the ISB guys because Leia can cancel Tarkin's text and Leia has the gun. But I think in a normal ISB throne room game, I might do that. But in this game, you just kind of sit there and set up your drain of 3 and your drain of 2, pick one to cancel.
So
I know Brian Fred, all of those guys.
How do
Not
you
just
get
Leia? That would be bad.
Yeah, how do you have Brian Fred's number? That's my next question. Well, there's
Brian
the Never
Fred.
Yarn All. So, and now Kessling's back onto square one. So, and I love it. He draws a Never. He's playing 2 Never Yarnals. That's seems pretty good.
Yeah, so R2 will go back to the used pile.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if Mike has maybe a 3PO, can go find him again, track him around a little bit.
Maybe he's playing the effect. I know a lot of like the Endor guys who like Joe Olsen like to run that and stuff.
Probably see Kainu and Officer Evex head to the Jedi Council chamber here.
No, Evax is
Nope,
going the
to the
other
document.
way. Interesting. And I think this is so maybe this is potentially so he can't docking bay transit over. I don't know. I don't know like why you wouldn't go over to the JCC.
And I could see being worried about who you have left that has a saber. Obi has a saber left.
Mm-hmm. Especially if he missed that Gek pull.
Right. And Matt can't really endanger himself of losing force, right? Because he's only got 29 left in life force.
Mm-hmm.
Which would tie him. Brian Fred spamming me with text messages.
Really? Well, maybe because I ignored him for like 2 seconds and he got all frustrated with me.
Says that Mike's goal should be to make Matt to play cards.
I agree. I mean, losing cards out of his hand isn't that big of an issue. It's he can't lose anything from his life force at this point.
It doesn't look like drained here.
Mm-mm.
He shuffled his deck, so he's not going to be tracking that 3PO around, or excuse me, R2 around.
Yeah, he's got to get the R2 back. Or I mean, he could always go down to the battle planes.
Which he did pull. Then he could threaten, just once he use all his force, he could threaten drains of 3, 2, and 1. 2 on that last one if he can find Saw.
Yep, there's the battle planes. So yeah, I think he's going to go with that option. Just go down to the battle planes, put one of his other guys down, and then start doing the drains.
Chewy with weapon. Okay.
Yeah, and he's got to come down with maybe a solo coming down too. No, I got the Brian Fred texting.
That's not in a bad spot here, right? Because Mike has deployed most of his guys. He's still got 29 in life force. He's still got 10 cards in hand. You do see Mike taking up the Brian Fred plan now.
Yeah.
He moves everybody in front.
Yeah, I like
that will
idea
stop
for Kessling.
Firepower. That will stop drain of 2 there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's only going to be losing 1 force this turn. When right now he's threatening, what, 5?
Well, to be honest, he's threatening 3. Because that drain of 3 will get canceled.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, potentially it could get canceled. And you're right.
Yeah. He's going to spend 9 to drain for 5, 3 of which will get canceled. For 5. Saw off the top of the deck is not good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can retrieve them right now. I mean, it would be putting a Walkling out of play, but I think you're fine losing Walkling.
Do agree, Justin, but knowing that Mike had Chewy and Solo in his hand and a mess in Lost Pile, that could have ended real bad if Matt doesn't have a Gick. She can't really draw for now either.
Yeah.
At least a way to cancel mess. Still have to do it. I think you have to take risks if you're Matt.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't see him. I mean, the only way I see him initiating a battle here is if he has the Nagok War Beast. Okay, well, that's a good way to get rid of Solo and Chewie. I mean, what? You cancel... Do you cancel Solo or do you cancel Chewie?
I think you follow up with a trooper or 2 here. Maybe just 1 trooper.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say I would cancel Chewie's text and you eat overflow in... You eat the attrition with your troopers, but it's just going to be Vader. Maybe you take that chance that he misses swing.
Wow, there's a
garrison. You do that, you play the garrison off there.
But yeah, there's the perimeter scan, so the garrison can't do anything now.
Garrison just costing him force.
Yeah.
Perimeter scan will go out of play.
No, why was the perimeter scan? No, it goes used because he didn't play from his lost pile.
Min Kainu put it out of play.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Maybe that means that Matt is running an extra garrison or two compared to the standard list.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least it's not the field promotion version.
We know of yet.
I mean, I will say this: if this was the field promotion version of ISB, Kessling would have been in a little bit more of a rough spot.
Yes. So Matt has a couple decisions here. He only has 3 force left. One of that's going to be spent on the garrison. Probably save one more to either retrieve with enforcement or firepower next turn. He's got 1 force to play with, essentially. His guys do move away from that 2-1 for free.
Okay, so he's going to double down, deploy another trooper or another biker scout down. Because he can't just. Maybe he still battles here.
Does he battle without the garrison and hope that Dewey misses?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it's good, especially because the garrison dies after that.
Yeah.
We have a free move over to the docking bay, so that was his plan. Starts moving a couple guys over for free.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think, like, right now, at least, I mean, MHT is playing really methodical. He's using that 8-card hand that's now an 8-card hand as much as he can. Fortunately for him, he's going to be.
So Mike now has a couple of options.
Yeah.
So Mike has we know he has the sorry about the mess in the lost pile that he can play with solo. He could pay 6 force here to drain for.
Well, you're going to if you're MHT, you're at least going to cancel solo or Chewy here, so that sorry about the mess isn't going to come into hand unless he has another character to come down with.
Well, yeah, you have to do that immediately. I think you have to pick one and just kind of live with your choice.
Yeah.
But if he drops maybe a Hera or a Lando, he should be able to clear the garrison and the biker scout.
True.
But yeah, you can pay 6 here to drain because you're going to pay 3 to drain at the 2-0, which will get canceled. And then you pay to drain at the upper walkway, which is a drain of 1. It looks like it's going to be his plan. He did cancel Solo's game text immediately.
Yeah, I think that's the right move.
See, it is another garrison. Look at that. Mike's got to drain the opposite order here. Drain for 1 first, see if he cancels it. But he gets the 1 through with paying only 3 instead of paying 6.
I mean, there's no way that MHT was going to lose a card or use strategic reserves there on the drain of 1. So. Yeah, he's not even a drain. I mean,
Okay. I don't understand paying 3 to drain
yeah.
there unless you're going to pay 3 more.
No, I mean, it does get a card out of his hand.
Right, but you drain for 1, that gets another card out of his hand.
True.
Jedi level get back Saw here. I think that's the only character in Lost other than a Luke.
I mean, R2 in his lost pile would have been nice there, but
Warn him for going used.
interesting. I'm surprised he doesn't go with the saw down to. Okay, so that's one way, but I still don't understand not going with saw down to the upper walkway.
Right, because you set yourself up with a drain of 2 at the walkway.
Well,
Sorry,
now
3 at the walkway.
Well, now it would be a drain of 3 at the walkway though, if saw was there.
I'm wondering if Mike doesn't realize that Saw doesn't stop strategic.
Yeah. Opponent may not reduce. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about canceling. So no, if you go down with saw to the walkway, it's a drain of 3. Then you have 2 drains of 3.
And it looks like he's content with just solo Chewie there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably has a Hoojix. I would assume he's going to move that pile of guys to the docking bay. Now, if you're Matt, you kind of have to go for it here, right at the battle planes.
Yeah, you have to.
Drop that garrison for 10 more power. If you've got a trooper assault, you put a card back in your life force. Actually, I'm pretty sure trooper assault will get grabbed here, but you end up eventually, if you can find an ISB agent to sit there too, you drain for 3 there. So Matt drains for 1. If I'm Mike also, I think I'm regretting pulling battle plan now.
Maybe a little. Do you know if he's running any space in his deck?
I don't know the final version he settled on, but if he is, it's probably not more than, say, a Tantive or what's the Pulsar Skate with the guy in it?
Booster and Pulsar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if he's running maybe a Booster and Pulsar Skate, I mean that would at least be. Then he could run like a Landing Claw, but that's way too card intensive at this point.
The second garrison comes down to the battle planes.
Did he cancel anybody's game text yet?
It's in Solo's text.
Yeah.
Probably see a trooper assault here for an extra 6 power. It would be spicy if we saw a Dark Jedi presence.
Oh, yeah. You got to think Kessling's got the Gick. Or the Hojix.
Yeah. I mean, he's got 13 forfeits, so they're even right now. So it would be Matt's 2 draws against Mike's 1.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no trooper assault, because there still might be. There is not a trooper assault. Okay.
So he's going to go after the Biker Scout with Chewie.
That's the right play to me because he's forfeit 5. The Garrisons are both forfeit 4, and even if you don't get rid of them, they cost a force to stay there.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Lana saves some forfeit.
Yeah.
Does get grabbed.
I do like that grab.
Let him get cards back in his life force. Matt draws a 5. 2. She can redraw if he wants.
Yeah. I mean, he's only getting rid of what, Solo right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you do redraw. I don't see why not. Well, actually,
no. There's a big difference in power. It's 30-10 right now.
Yeah.
So because right now Mike is losing both of them in 2.
Yeah.
That 5. That 5 is only going to get rid of 1 trooper.
No, it's not even that. It's going to just get rid of the biker scout.
Yeah, the hit trooper.
Yeah.
Chewie and Solo go. You can even consider just losing 2 cards here instead of Hoojix.
Yeah, I would.
You'd probably lose the Hoojix.
Okay.
Battle Planes is a drain of 3 because there's no ISB agent there.
Yeah.
Both garrisons can't add. Again, Matt's still looking pretty good here, right? So
Yeah.
Mike's gonna have to pay to drain for 3
now
at
he is drawing
the 2-0.
So he is drawing a few cards, so I mean that's going to put him under that 29. But
He drew 1 card, yeah.
Yeah.
But he gets to
So far he drew
retrieve
2. So he's at 27 right now. But yeah, he's not sitting bad. It's just
I mean, technically Mike can activate all 17 cards here and start drawing, but I would imagine that Matt has some kind of use interrupt he could play.
yeah, and he's already he's already reused the grabber, so but he needs 2 used interrupts at this point. Or no, he needs 3.
Still, I mean, I could see Death Squadron assignments is in that deck. Cold Feet we saw is in his reserve deck.
Well, he's got the Masterful Move. Yeah, he's got to have something in his deck that he can just put back to. So, do you think this is like maybe baiting Mike into drawing up here, or?
Well, so he didn't have the force this turn to move everybody away from the docking bay. So
yeah,
we could see Mike just try to get up in there and do things with Leia's gun, hit with Luke, hit with Qui-Gon.
Well, he's going to cancel what? Tarkin's game text. Because there's nobody else there that I would actually cancel. I mean, it's only one Destiny, and if okay, so he's gonna okay, so there's a sorry about the mess. Yeah, things are looking good for Mike now.
He could also potentially get rid of all the ISB agents there. There are, oh, I guess there's 5. That's too many.
Yeah. I think you go, I was going to say, you go either, I would say you go after evacs. Because, you like I said, you can cancel Tarkin's game text.
Yeah.
But that's going to get rid of Tarkin. And there's the I must be allowed to speak, so. We were talking about earlier.
All right, so Matt played a Lana combo in the last battle, and it's grabbed, and then he saved 2 force.
Okay, there's another force drain cancel. Now, I think if you're Mike
So
right
patrol
now, you're
react
going
for
to.
3.
Yeah. Mike's going to just. I think Mike
4.
just battles here.
Oh, yeah. He's going to shoot once, swing twice.
And that's it.
Off Destiny.
He doesn't have enough stuff saved to swing twice and shoot. I don't think you worry about the Destiny. I think you just want to get rid of characters. So you go after evacs, you go after Gideon, and you go after what, the biker scout trooper.
I think you leave Gideon because he's more likely to have another Gideon in hand, so that kind of strands him. I think you go after evacs and the biker scout.
Yeah, I think you have to.
You don't go after the patrol. He probably has a trooper assault to play here.
Oh,
Or ceasefire to play
that's
here.
a good card. Ceasefire, yeah.
But is 2 more cards lost from hand.
Yeah. He loses a decree and a stalker. No cancels, so I mean that does go back into his deck though. So he's sitting at 28.
28.
And there's a trooper assault.
Trooper assault for 29.
Yep.
I'll get him 4 more power. Okay, so he only has to lose evacs most likely.
Yeah.
Probably win the battle. We'll get to retrieve.
Well, I wouldn't say he's
which
gonna
biker
win the
scout
battle. Like, we don't know what the destinies are.
Well, trooper assault's going to put him at 23.
Yeah. Well, no, he was at 15, so it boosted him up to 19.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, there's a 5, so it becomes a 6 now. I think you. And there's a 3, so
He's going to take that one in hand.
Yeah, he can take that into hand to cancel it.
It's actually good for him because now he can. No, he can't. He can just lose evacs. Draws a 4, so they're going to tie the battle.
Yeah.
Justin Skywalker's is the bottom card is of his reserve deck, I believe.
So I think what you lose, yeah, you lose Ray. Okay, there goes evacs. So
that was about as well as it could have gone for Matt because he's going to get to drain for 3 and 1. He's going to get to retrieve evacs. He's going to get to cancel the drain. When Odin, who's going where?
Possibly in front of the drain of 3. No.
There you go.
Yeah. So he's going in front of the drain of 3 with that nice little doom stack.
Saw's text will be canceled.
Yeah.
That does save him 3 force. That sets up probably a battle win for Matt to be able to retrieve an Imperial and retrieve an Agent.
So he's going to be able to get to retrieve 2. He'll be back up to 30 right there.
He is down to 4 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Does have a Trooper on reserves he can play too.
True. So essentially, that's a 5th card essentially in his hand.
Just the Trainor 1.
Mm.
Yeah, if he has another Trooper Assault, he's looking very good in a battle at the Battle Plains.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't, he's still looking pretty good. He can get to 26 with that Trooper. 27 with that Trooper. Plus a Destiny. Is it redraw?
Well, 27. Yeah. But yeah, if he has the Trooper Assault here, that brings him up to what, 33?
Trooper Assault goes to 33.
Yeah.
I did use his Hujix already.
Okay. I mean, that Tarkin's not going to help him right now, but
he gets to draw 3 cards if he wants to.
yeah, he can draw the 3 cards. It might give him another character.
You draw those 1 at a time, so if you find it, you probably just stop.
Yeah. And I think I agree with you. This is why Mike should have kept on to his Hojix instead of losing it. He could have just lost the 2 and kept the Hojix for this. And we might see Matt come up with like a... We might see him... Okay, so he doesn't draw the 3. Yeah, he doesn't draw any cards, though.
Justin, he still needs a 3rd ISB agent there to cancel anything. He's got 25 in forfeit, so like he's probably not in danger of taking overflow. He is in danger of giving up that site and not having.
Well, again, I think if you're Mike, like, what are the chances of those 3 cards being in Matt's hands? Interrupts. That's the other thing, or especially used interrupts.
This turn, he's going to battle. He's going to retrieve somebody because he's going to win the battle with enforcement. He's got that biker scout in there, and then he can retrieve evacs with the objective. So that's 30 again.
Yeah. Well, okay, so, but at the same time, so he can retrieve 1 with the enforcement. Maybe Mike just loses all of the cards. Like, if the overflow's enough, he could just lose everything.
But that's also if he doesn't have Trooper Assault or plays a used interrupt during battle.
True. But we're still waiting on MHT at this point. It's still in his deploy phase.
Just looking at options, Justin. Just looking at options.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like MHT cannot risk the drop.
So Saw's game text is canceled there. Will not add to attrition. Anakin's going to get a swing unless we see a third ISB agent come down. Soka's going to make his Battle Destiny -1. So what
Okay.
at this point?
Well, there's the third ISB.
There is a third ISB agent. Right now you're in the realm of taking overflow.
Yeah. But again, because the way it works, you retrieve the one from enforcement before you start forfeiting.
Well, so, all right, he's going to get to 29. Then they're going to be tied.
Yeah, and then it goes to lost piles. Do we know how?
I think Matt would win on lost piles there.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about
The Never Yarnall.
Never Yalnall here.
It gets away forfeit,
So-
but I mean,
So what, I guess? I mean, it's 5 forfeit, but
yeah.
have to swing at a trooper.
No, there's a
Second R2.
Yeah.
We'll just sneaky on him. The other thing in play is Matt is down to 1 card in hand.
Yeah.
Does not have enough to move that pile of guys away. They have to draw some cards anyway.
Yeah.
We draw 7 total for Battle Destiny. 43. I'm gonna mess up my math if I try to do this on the fly.
So 20. He's down by 29. That's gonna get canceled.
Draws a 6 is 20. Cancelled. So down by 29
Yeah.
is 15, 20. It's 8 extra cards from Mike.
So here's my next question: if you're Mike, I don't think you would. You should have swung at the garrison. Because then it would. So right now, he can still retrieve 1 with the objective and keep that second garrison on the table.
Yeah, but I think Mike's focus right now is to figure out which are the safest 8 cards to lose. Try to get a battle in next turn at the docking bay.
Yeah.
And then, because Matt's going to have to go below card. I'm only going to be able to retrieve on a turn.
Yeah, I don't. This is the problem. Like, does he draw a card or does he retrieve?
To lose all his extra cards from hand.
Yeah. Well, there's that battle you were talking about.
There's 8 cards. So 11 left to work with and 5 in hand.
Yeah.
That battle's going to cost him 6 force to swing twice and shoot somebody.
Yeah.
That battle planes is now a drain of 4, plus the 1 in space.
Yeah, Joe, that's the plan. But again, the biggest issue is he can't run away with those guys at the docking bay. Actually, hold on. Yeah, actually, no, he can. Your docking bay transit from here requires 1. So he pays 1, retrieves 1. He ditches the garrison at this point. Doesn't really matter. And then he just docking bays over to the Coruscant docking bay.
Why wouldn't you just? Yeah, okay, you have to run away from that.
Yeah, you have to run away.
I mean, again, do you have to? It's not like he's outpowering you by a ton. He's not drawing at anything plus extra, right? So he's going to draw. He's going to be power 18. Um, you're going to have 2 hit guys. You might have to lose. You're going to have to lose some cards. So that makes sense.
Yeah. That's the problem, is he might have to lose a few because the Lana Dobry is grabbed at this point. He can't play the second one, even if he had another one.
You shoot Oberk just because he's the easiest.
Yeah.
You hit Min and Moth.
Yep.
And then you're down by 2 power plus a destiny. 3 power plus a destiny.
So there might be like 1 or 2 overflow, which would then
That puts him out of the realm there.
I don't think he noticed that he can docking bay transit for 1. That's not good that he didn't do that. Yeah.
He'll be docking bay transiting for 1. And just losing the garrison.
No,
So Lana's grabbed. It's going to cost him 2.
Yeah. Now he can't retrieve. I mean, they're at 20. He's at 29, so. Or no, he's going to retrieve now. And that brings him up to 30.
So Garrison will go out of play.
The diff was 29.
Gick could be the 1 in hand. You put the garrison in use pile. I guess that's fine. 1 card for 1 card. 1 that will help you cancel things with strategic.
Yeah. No, there has not been a single ship deployed by Lightside at all this game.
Mike is also unable to retrieve because he doesn't satisfy Coward right now.
Yeah.
You have to assume that that's Gick in his hand, right?
Yeah.
So do you even battle?
At most, if you're Mike, you're at most probably just going to lose the Qui-Gon. And you're going to cause your opponent to lose all 3 of his characters. And if that's the Gick in hand, he really can't do anything. So you move the Luke over in front of the Gideon, and you leave, you move Ray or Leia in front of the Gideon, and you leave Luke there.
Yeah.
No, he got rid of R2 once with Never Yarnall, and then he got rid of him. Oh no, he did it on the second turn. So I guess that Never Yarnall worked because that would have saved Mike like 3/4.
Kendall, he's threatening a drain of 6 right now. He's drain of 3 at the battle planes, 2 at the upper walkway, and 1 at the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is, you battle, you kill all 3, you make them spend that Gick, you move Luke over.
Yeah. Well, do you move Luke or do you move Leia?
I move Luke. Because he's going to have no cards in hand.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I'm saying if you move the Leia, then even if he does battle or something, then you can shoot the Gideon. but he's not going to. He's going to run away, so you want him to move into Luke.
It's fair. It's just, is he going to have enough force to do all that, right? So he's going to need 2 swings and a shot is 5, plus Destiny is 6. On to initiate the battle is 7.
He's got 10.
On to shoot lay his gun is 8. On to move Luke over is 9, so you have just enough to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's another thing. It's like, yeah, Matt could, if he goes into the Boss Nass chamber, then he could easily just move Vader into the Boss Nass chamber next turn.
Right. Like, it's going to spiral for Mike if he doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, the one thing is
1 force there.
Interesting. Maybe he's got a character or something. Maybe he's got a Jin.
I mean, Jin would be great. Jin would just go to battle planes undercover. Mike's favorite character, Koran Horn. Come to bail him out in his time of need.
Yeah. What? Because Koran's going to be power 4.
Power 4. He's got another Odin.
Yeah, and he had to attract that.
Well, he just looked at it, so he knew it was there.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Odin moves in front of the bigger drain.
Yeah. So he's still losing 3, though.
3.
Yeah.
He's still facing down a Tarkin. I guess Tarkin's text gets canceled. Never mind.
Yeah.
And these match play games get weird.
Right? Mister, I'm just going to go cancel EBO.
Yeah. All right, so now this could backfire, right?
This could backfire entirely because MHT is going to be able to retrieve at least 1 from the objective, putting him up to 31. So, yeah, he's gonna fight against. You're at least gonna fight with Gideon. You're gonna retrieve there. You're gonna fight with that Doom stack. Retrieve there, then retrieve 1 more from the objective.
Gideon doesn't necessarily win. It's 3 to 4 in Kessling's favor right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If he fights with that Doom stack, Tarkin's text gets canceled. One of the stormtroopers probably gets shot. Vader probably gets hit. Tarkin probably gets hit, and Mike is able to take over that site and drain for 3.
Yeah. I mean, now Mike can actually retrieve. But he's not going to. He's got to
shouldn't do it till the end of turn, but
yeah. I mean, MHT.
With Mike's hand, so though you.
MHT could easily just slide over into the Boss Nass chamber, because he is doing drains of 1 and 2. So, and he is retrieving. So, there's really nothing he needs to do. Wow. We might actually see MHT win this out. Well, I mean, I don't know. I picked it up. I forget who I picked it up from. I want to say I picked it up from Brian Fred watching Hollow Theater last week. And if Brian Fred says it, I mean, that's probably the best way to say it. Yeah, I mean, we could just say two death sticks fighting together. That would be.
You don't
terrible.
want to fight with death sticks.
Yeah, nobody wants to fight with us.
You want to go home and rethink your life. It was to Chris Kelly if he's watching. Don't want to see any more death stacks.
No, Chris Kelly is all about that Seboba. Now, Chris Kelly disappeared since Texas Mini Worlds. You made him retire or something.
Oh no, he'll be back. And in greater numbers.
Wow.
Why do you let me on air?
Because I would think that you would act normal, but then you don't.
Nick, I don't think you've been here the whole time, but I think Mike made two mistakes that are causing this to be way closer. The first is putting Saw to the 2-0, the square, instead of putting him to the upper walkway, because I think he forgot how strategic reserves text works. I thought Saw was going to protect him. And then I think the second was choosing to lose his Hujix in a battle early when he only had to lose 2 overflow.
Yeah. I mean, this might actually go Mike's way here. I mean, you can't really cancel this right now.
Matt has so many decisions to make on every single play that happens.
Yeah.
Can you take this into hand? Can you try to draw a higher number?
Nope. He's
Sit
not going
with
to take it
F3
in
and hope
hand.
that Ranhorn draws a 1?
Yeah. So he's not going to retrieve any now.
Right. Well, he's going to get one with the objective.
Well, yeah, I'm saying he's still going to get the window with the objective at the end of the turn.
Mike is not going to get to retrieve one, though.
No.
He no longer satisfies Coward.
Yeah. I actually think Mike could have, or Matt could have retrieved there to take that card into hand, just to have another dude. I mean, he is retrieving one. He would have been at 30. He still would have, so.
Yeah, but I mean, half the cards in his deck are 2s and 3s, so it's tough.
Yeah.
If he, yeah,
he can
Justin just said it. Like if you draw 2,
yeah,
Ranhorn's immune, just sits there.
Yeah. And yeah, now he can spread. He can literally take that stack with Vader and just move him into the Boss Nash chamber. Yeah, I mean, he satisfies for Coward. There's really nothing Mike can do at this point. I mean, he is going to get a drain of 2 in. So that should bring MHT.
He's going to end this turn at 31.
Yeah. So it'll be down
that
to.
That brings him to 29.
Yeah. So he's got,
he's got 32 to work with. Turn 2.
Huh?
He's going to have to eat drains on Cloud City for a turn or 2. He's going to have to figure out a way to get a battle in on Naboo. That's the only way he can win this game.
Yeah, and there's no way. So he's going to have to pay 3 to drain for 2. That's going to
think Matt's moving away here.
I think if you're Matt, you move away. There's no reason not to.
He's got Gick.
Well, I know he's got Gick, but
But it's a card from hand. And he's going to retrieve one because he's going to live through the turn.
True. Yeah, I mean, he can't use Tarkin just because Tarkin's game text is going to be canceled. So there is that. So moving those stormtrooper patrols is smart. You know what? I'm going to say this. You have to commend MHT for playing this as well as he is.
I told you. Winning is not insurmountable. It's tough, but
yeah, I don't think Robbie is. I don't think anybody is questioning the fact that Robbie made MHT a #1 seed. Maybe people are questioning the fact that he made Chris Kelly and B. Fred 1 seed. So,
yeah, why you gotta call out B. Fred like that?
Because they're the only #1 seeds not to make it into the top 16. I mean, I call out Chris Kelly enough.
Furious text messages from B. Fred.
I know. He's like, why are you letting Dan talk like he is? No, believe me, I would be getting it from B. Fred too.
I think in general, ISB wins this game by
Yeah.
10 to 12 to 15, right?
Yeah.
So Matt just kind of played this above average.
Yeah. Matt did everything. Matt played this 100% perfect. You have to think. Oh, Paul Myers, B. Fred needs to be called out. Let's go.
You had your chance, Paul.
Right?
All right, so
Yeah, Paul,
Matt did draw one card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see a way that Mike can win this unless it's through battle damage in this battle, but we're all pretty sure he's holding the Gick.
Well, that's the other question. Maybe he's bluffing. I'm not saying he is, but
That would be pretty ridiculous.
yeah. Now,
I don't know. That's why I lost to Joe. I figured Joe had a Gick, and he was like, "No, I'm not playing it."
yeah. I mean, maybe if you're Mike, you want to go down and beat up on one of those stormtrooper patrols.
So who's left in your hand? Maybe it's
Hera.
Lando we haven't
Hera.
seen, an Obi we haven't seen.
Oh, he pitched Obi to the Lost Pile
Okay.
and a drain. But I'm saying Hera's got to be left. We haven't seen her
Hera.
at all.
Maybe Jin.
Now, I will say both players are taking their good time. Hera probably wouldn't cause any overflow. But again, I don't think if you're just not worried about overflow, you're worried about those drains.
I think your path here is overflow because next turn Matt's going to retrieve another one, and then if it goes another turn, it's going to retrieve another one.
Yeah, you have to make him. Well, I'm not saying you drop Hera on one of the two patrols, and then if you go with Hera to the patrol on Cloud City, and then you slide her over in front of the Min and Trooper or the Biker Scout, that blocks that drain, and then maybe move Qui-Gon in front of the Stormtrooper patrol. Then you're only losing
But
one.
that's 4 force plus 1 to battle, plus 1 to move over, plus 1 to move over. He
Yeah.
doesn't have that.
No, he has it. He is exactly that.
But then he doesn't have a destiny.
No, I'm saying so. Four to come down. 1 to battle is 5.
Yep.
6 is a destiny,
Yep.
and then 2 to move over.
Okay.
That's 8. He has 8 left.
There's Lando.
Yeah. I mean, it really didn't matter where he goes down with Lando there.
He's going to move Qui-Gon over.
So that tells me he didn't have the Hera. Yeah, this game, I mean, I'm going to say that like it does not look good for Mike.
Nick, if he had kept the trooper there, Leia's just going to cancel Tarkin's text anyway. It's in another card because of firepower.
Yeah.
Barring Matt running out of clock time here, I think.
That's the only way, yeah. I mean, he's got
I think Matt's going to move on.
Yeah.
ISB deck, man. It's so hot right now.
It's like Hansel. Yeah. You got to think Mike's kicking himself right now, too. Paul, if you come onto Holo Theater, yes, I will require you to do that. No other major news networks can cover the story between you and B. Fred. I mean, we're on MHT's activation, and he's taking his time. I mean, I don't see any reason for him to battle or anything. You're training for 2 and 1, so I think if you're...
Yeah, I mean, you just drain, you move that trooper away from Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Probably move the 2 dudes away from Lando.
Yeah.
Like, you're not really scared of anything right now.
No.
Especially if you're holding a Gick.
Yeah.
You're going to retrieve if there's an ISB agent in Lost Pile, which I'm not sure if there is or not. I think there's 1.
Yeah.
Then say go. And Mike does what? Pays the drain for 1? Not even 1.
Yep.
Never mind. It was ISB.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you said it best. The only way MHT is going to lose this game is if he runs out of 6 minutes, and I don't see that happening. No, I mean he is down in what New Zealand, or he's in what New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he loses like 5 or 6 minutes from the time zones and everything. But
Playing from the future, so he knew it was going to happen.
and there he goes retrieving another. He's up to
Walker knows how to
what?
play.
Yeah. So he's up to
32.
32.
Afford to draw 2 here if he wants.
Yeah. He's literally the entire time he's sitting there the entire game at 29, and now he's up to 32.
Well, back to 30 now. And Mike's threatening 0 damage here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point, though, I mean, MHT could literally win with 29 cards in his hand in his deck.
There's a Jar Jar.
I don't understand.
Qui-Gon
Maybe
back, 1 to move Lando over.
yeah, I don't understand the Jar Jar going there. I think maybe going down to the 2-0 site.
Like the castle or the square? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, why not? I mean, yeah, I don't think it matters. Actually, no. I mean, that does make a little bit more sense because now he's got 2 Battle Destiny. He's only losing 1 force here, so.
Yeah, but he also drew 2 or 3 cards last turn. So you could very easily just throw a guy to the JCC.
Yeah.
Move the Tudes for free to the docking bay.
And that's what he's going to do.
Barrack's not an agent, but he gets there all the same.
Yeah. He takes the longer way.
You move one of the stormtroopers back to the 2-0. You move your dudes to the docking bay, and you say go.
Yep. Yep. Never mind. Mike
realizing
conceded.
That's it.
We have the concede from Mike. Wow. MHT moving on. We got MHT versus Greg Shaw for the finals. Oof.
It's a good run from Mike, though. I don't think anybody, including Mike, expected him to make it this far.
Yeah. Who? Mike was in the Joe Olsen bracket, correct?
Yes. Joe Olsen did not play aim high. That's where all the memes come from.
So, are we gonna like quell that at some point?
He played it against me. He redeemed himself. He's fine. So yeah, I mean, Matt against Greg is a solid final to have here for Texas Mini Worlds, right?
It's gonna be really good. We got 2 players who I'm gonna say this. Greg Shaw is playing as good as anybody. MHT has gone through the gauntlet at this point. So yeah, this is gonna be a good finals. So again, once everybody has them, we'll let you guys know. So for tonight, for Hollow Theater, for those who are watching, we're going to have Greg Shaw on with Robbie and myself. Maybe we'll see about getting MHT on. Who knows? So that's all I've got. How about you, Bill?
I've got nothing. That's a great run from Mike, and congrats to Matt for playing pretty much perfectly.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I think we'll sign off now and hopefully see everybody on in a little bit for Hollow Theater. Good night.